I solemnly swear that there will be no jump scares in this video. Trust me. I believe the first time I heard of the series was actually during last year's Sonic Hacking Contest showcase, where it was my co-host Nathan who brought it up. He then linked me to Markiplier's playthrough of it, and I gotta say it looked interesting, but not quite interesting enough to immediately drop everything I was doing just to see what all the commotion was about. Didn't stop this guy from immediately checking it out. Elliot, thank you for joining me for today's video.
I am?
Yes, you are. Now you want to go and explain how this game came to be?
Sure.
So, the creator of the series is one Scott Cawthon. Originally, he had this game called Chipper & Sons Lumber Company that involved... I don't really know what's going on here, but it didn't matter because people were too busy being disturbed by how the animals looked. They almost resembled animatronics you probably saw as a kid at your local Chuck E. Cheese that you were trying so hard to forget until we made you remember just now. Sorry, blame Johnny, he wrote this part of the script.
Hey, no, they weren't that. Okay, yeah, they were.
You see, during the day, the animatronics are nice and friendly to the kids out there, but at night, they suddenly become your worst nightmare as they have an insatiable urge to grab and stuff you inside an empty animatronic suit. That means death.
No shit. To prevent that happening, you can't let them get inside the office. You check the camera feeds to spot their current locations, and when they get too close, you shut these blast doors until they decide to go away. At no point are you ever allowed to simply get up and hightail it the fuck out of there. You are, for lack of a better description, super glued to your chair from 12 a.m. until 6 a.m. of the current night. Freddy Fazbear's Pizzeria has state-of-the-art animatronics that are able to move on their own accord during the night, but for some reason its building has really shitty electrical wiring.
Your power slowly drains through the night. When it reaches 0, the power goes out, and Freddy finds a new keyboard player for his band.
Why the second half of the song Torador from Carmen?
I couldn't tell you. There's not really any relation as far as I know. Plus, I don't think the first half of the song would be any more appropriate.
You do everything in your power to avoid getting that jump scare because nobody likes getting jump scared, but your hands tremble, your heart pounds, you may even sweat a bit. The building makes all sorts of noises, you can just faintly hear movement in the background. The robots are out there, they're getting closer, and you only have so much power.
What's up?
Do you remember that security game prototype that Nintendo showed off at E3 last year?
Not really.
Never mind. Part of the fun is just throwing yourself into it all, and attempting to survive the whole week if you like what you see and are up for the task. Elliot certainly was, managed to complete all 5 nights partially blind over at SGB.
Yeah, and I nearly had a heart attack.
But you didn't, and you lived to play the next game in the series, Five Nights at Freddy's 2.
If and when any of the animatronics get close by, you gotta be fast enough to put the mask on and fool them long enough until they leave. And some of these assholes are special in their own way, like Balloon Boy. If you don't fool him with that mask when he's looking at you through the vent, he disables your flashlight when he gets inside the office. And I guess he takes the batteries out. But that means game over. Trust us.
Come on now, I realize being helpless is just part of the game here, but I really can't get up and just knock the fucking boy over and get my batteries back. And what a dick, you know, all these other abominations want my face, and this asshole wants to make sure I die in the dark. Prick. I think it would have been a better option to have the camera and mask options mapped to keyboard commands. Then there are some occasions where your flashlight suddenly decides to stop working on the hallway, like it shorts out or something when it really has no reason to. What exactly is going on? Is it the game's way of telling me that the animatronics are moving without having to animate them? This wouldn't be a problem if there weren't a chance that I could die from not flashing my light on time, particularly from Foxy. But this is exactly why I love having Elliot around. He loves this sort of shit, and he's way better at the game than I am. Just look at him conquering the 5th night right here.
I should be good, I should be good.
Hopefully. Yes. Okay.
Yes!
Yeah! Good job, Elliot. You did that here, not in Let's Play channel.
Yeah!
FNAF 3 takes place 30 years after the first FNAF. FNAF.
Anyway, 30 years after the first FNAF, Freddy Fazbear's Pizzeria is no longer a thing. However, someone thought it was a good idea to make a horror attraction based on the events that went down in that place, and when they decided to search the old pizzeria for artifacts to use for their attraction, they found one animatronic. This is Springtrap, and he's the sole enemy of FNAF 3. And if you think that makes the game any easier, well, I don't blame you for thinking that, but no. FNAF 3 still manages to be quite hard.
Are there just no OSHA regulations in this world? This building you work in has some of the shittiest working conditions I've ever seen. Your camera system is prone to shutting off in conjunction with the goddamn ventilation. That's right, it's a privilege to just breathe in this place.
Honestly, we were more exasperated than scared with this one, especially after the 15th death on night 3.
We were seriously considering stopping at night 4 after Springtrap gave both of us so much shit, but after taking a break we managed to pull through and complete the 5th night. We kinda did a relay system. I did night 2 and 4 while Elliot did night 3 and 5. We even did those hidden minigames that give you this sort of good ending.
Yes! Oh! Thank God!
Now, even though it clearly sounds like we're exhausted, this is merely a result of playing 3 games for 1 video. This man took something that didn't work and made it into something that did. That's how you do it, folks, and should you feel the need to give any of these games a try, the links to the Steam pages are in the description below. Mr. Cawthon, a job well done. But it doesn't hurt to slow things down a bit. Last thing we need is the man burning out, and nobody wins when that happens. Buyer beware, you're in for a scare.
You totally took that from Goosebumps, you know.
No, that was reader beware, you're in for a scare. Remember Goosebumps?
It wasn't that long ago, dude.
I suppose not. Okay then, now that the FNAF trilogy is done with, let's get on with the rest of the indie showcase. I'm still trying to process the amount of comments you guys left on the Journey video, but I have enough to make that straw poll I talked about. Be on the lookout for that, as the top 3 picks of that poll will be games to look at during the showcase. As always, thank you guys for watching, have yourselves a great night, and here comes the jump scare! Nah, I'm kidding, it's just the credits.
No jump scares? Wait, you were serious? Man, what a ripoff.
Where's Elliot? Get your ass out. You're not getting out of the hook.
I tried, damn it!
Holy shit, it's like Mr. Cawthon is terrified of build-up and hype. Five Nights at Freddy's 4 was announced the day after I posted my initial Five Nights at Freddy's review. It was slated for Halloween, I didn't buy that, I said it would come out in August, then the release date was changed to August, I said, called it! And then it came out last week. Fuck, man.
I know, John, it drives you nuts. But the game is out now, so we're gonna do a quick follow-up to our FNAF trilogy video, and this game does not screw around.
Oh Jesus, no. You're not a security guard anymore, you're not even pretending to be one. You're a kid, inside his own house, trapped in his own room. Why? Because of that.
But what makes it all worse is the new style of gameplay. Again, you're a kid. That means no cameras, just 2 doors with no locks, a closet, your bed, and your flashlight. Why does this kid have 2 doors to his bedroom? Who has that? I'd say overprotective parents, but they're nowhere to be friggin' seen when this kid's alone with the death robots. And without spoiling anything, his brother is a total dickwad.
It's kind of weird, isn't it? What's stopping these gargantuan robots from just barging into the room at once and grabbing the kid? He's a kid. The doors don't even have locks on them. What the hell's a flashlight gonna do? And Foxy starts outside the hall like the others, but when he heads inside the room, he goes for your closet first. Not the kid.
He closed the door. What do we do?
You don't know how to work a doorknob?
My hands are rusted open, man.
Well, I can try to put from... Ah, Jesus! What the hell was that? Did he just take my picture?
I'll try the door again tomorrow.
This is a nice closet.
This game is pretty friggin' hard.
Pretty freaking hard? It's fucking impossible. I was there. You got your ass kicked.
Well, I didn't see you play much of it.
Because I'm fucking terrified. Yes, and I feel comfortable in saying this. Five Nights at Freddy's 4 is the scariest game in the series.
Take it from me. As a guy who loves the Five Nights at Freddy's series, this game will kick your ass and make your heart pound, as if you're actually being hunted by your worst nightmares. Let's put it this way. Scott Cawthon had to patch the game just so people could have an easier time hearing things. Otherwise, people would flip their shit over every little sound and couldn't distinguish it from robot breath. I wouldn't say you'd be as terrified as the kid you play as, but come on, John couldn't finish this game.
Hey, if you ask me, it does its job too well. I'm a defenseless kid. There's nothing I can do about these animatronics approaching my child's safety doors. Give me a gun or a rocket launcher, and maybe we can talk about something here. But I realize that's not within my power, and that terrifies me.
We're still going to be doing this for SGB on Halloween, right?
Oh, absolutely. And by that time, there will be DLC released for the game. Yeah, DLC for a Five Nights at Freddy's game. No one knows what it'll be, but it's expected around Halloween, which probably means next week.
Or tomorrow.
Shut up.
Hey, you may hate this kind of shit. I say bring in more FNAF
The first game's not even a year old yet.
It's episodic, though.
And then call it Five Nights at Freddy's, episodes 1 through 4. A name can make all the difference.
Oh, like that'll really change anything.
The 8th game better be called Freddy Takes Manhattan.
Go to hell.
Well, that's the 9th game.
And the 10th game will be about Freddy in space.
And then he can have a crossover with Jason Voorhees, and it'll be called Freddy versus Jason. Now where in the hell is Elliot?
Right!
Well, I can see you're in the holiday spirit.
Yeah, this is all I can get at the moment. Anyway, you ready to go?
I guess. It's just, I got a feeling these follow-ups are going to get shorter and shorter, you know?
What do you mean?
Well...
In Sister Location, you're doing something different each night. You control a technician working after hours for Circus Baby's Pizza World, home of everyone's favorite superstar, Baby.
This series is just firing on all cylinders now, folks, I tell you. I mean, what was scarier than animatronics as a kid? Fucking clowns.
Jesus Christ.
But whether you're a returning fan or not, your actions are tied to the shit you get into in later nights. making Sister Location feel like a bigger game than the previous entries, even if it's still just around an hour or two long. The success of the previous games has paid off apparently, as this game has you actually moving to different spots during the nights. I mean, in FNAF 4 you could shuffle left or right to keep your doors closed, but we're crawling through ventilation shafts now, we're crawling on the floor to avoid detection.
Holy shit, the protagonist is Solid Snake. Solid Snake's the protagonist Sister Location, folks. I did it, guys! I fucking cracked the code. There's also an abundance of voice acting to go around, besides the helpless AI that assists you in your job that I swear was ripped right out of Portal 2. The animatronics get in on the fun as well. They yap their fucking mouths off when you're dealing with them, but don't think for a second it makes the game any less tense, because fuck me. Sister Location still firmly believes that less is more. Just look at the screen. Yeah, it's kind of dark here, for different reasons each time, and the anticipation of what's going to happen next is what's going to fuck your nerves over something fierce. I hate it because I know what's going to happen. This game only has one method of scaring you, the jump scare, but you can never really prepare for it. Scroll back up, you pussy!
You gotta have those headphones on to know when's the proper time to move safely away from Ballora, or when Funtime Freddy is homing in on your location when restoring power to the grid. When you're not stuck in the pitch black, your working environment is there to repeatedly remind you of its cold and sterile presence. It makes you uneasy, if not for the unknown whirling sounds you hear in the distance, then because it reminds you of your 9-to-5 job on your day off, and fuck that.
The ambience is great. It's what makes this idea, the concept, the whole series work out. If you're looking to get your pants shat on, you're disgusting, first off, but I think there's nothing wrong with starting with Sister Location.
Can I just say one thing real quick? Fuck Night 4 in general.
Wait, why?
Night 4 and that damn minigame with Baby. A lot of people hated this shit, and Scott ended up patching the game to make this night less difficult, but it's still damn difficult. Every time I'm close to beating it, I'm not. It lasts 3 minutes, I get to 10 seconds remaining, and then every time, same shit. And this minigame getting everything right is a pain in the ass. These kids can go fuck themselves. Their placements are so frustrating to feed them cupcakes to. I did it eventually, but it took me nearly an hour to do because of mistimed jumps, shooting my cupcakes too early, or getting a cupcake I didn't need at the moment. I'm looking at you, you green piece of shit.
Well, platformers are never really your forte to begin with, so...
Fuck off, John!
Okay, we're ranting about cupcakes now, so let's wrap this up.
And like FNAF 4, Sister Location is also getting some eventual DLC, Custom Night, to make your experience an even more terrifying one. It's coming this December, and...
No, it's not.
Wait.
It's not.
Alright, you're being a real little shit.
Kudos for giving the formula some variation. I firmly believe if it ain't broke, don't fix it. But at the rate these games were being released, shit could have gotten stale extremely fast. Again, this is the 5th game in 2 years. It's good to see them change things up while still retaining the same sense of dread, emptiness, and the jump scare.
I thought you said there would be no jump scares, you dick. You're such a bitch.
Takes one to know one, fucker!
What are you doing after this, by the way?
I was gonna go back to Sonic.
Now that's terrifying.
The fuck is that supposed to mean?
Rest in peace, comment section. Have a happy Halloween!